thought that I was the problem. And I mean, yes, I was the problem, but that's because I didn't know how to deal. I didn't know how to deal with things. So I made this post last week and someone commented on it on TikTok. Here's what it said. What my post said. It said, not to be dramatic, but I berated myself for years for how I ate. So your comments about how much I eat, how frequently I eat, and that I shouldn't eat a piece of toast with peanut butter at 9 p.m. don't faze me one bit. And the comment was, it was a question, how do I get over it? I try and suppress the thoughts, but sometimes they get to be too much. And I had to take the time to think about this because, one, I'm not an expert on anything. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Rachel. This is the I'm Bringing Healthy Back podcast. I have a history with disordered eating. I struggled with my relationship with food for over a decade, and I'm in a really good place now, but I struggled and I didn't seek or get professional help. But there's a lot you can learn about yourself, and it is possible to heal whether or not you get professional help. I think if you get professional help, you can heal a lot faster. So I can't advocate for one. I can't be an advocate for any specific way, but if you can get help from someone, I would recommend it because it's a really hard journey to be on by yourself. So I thought about how to reply to this individual, and I knew it was important that I wanted to respond, and I took the time to put together a short list of things that helped me stop having this unhealthy conversation with myself about food, because food, I will get into my answers because I cover this in my answers. I summarized it in 5 responses because on TikTok you have a character limit in the comments. So the first response was deconstructing, getting rid of any and all food rules you have surrounding food. Food has no rules. You're allowed to eat when you're hungry, and you're allowed to have treats. So I think the rules that I had put in my head, and the reason I beat myself up about what I ate, when I ate, how much I ate, was things that I had seen on social media or things that I had heard in my household. And one of those things was you shouldn't be eating super late before you go to bed. And if you do, it should be something light and not calorically dense. And sometimes people will judge you for how much you eat or how frequently you're eating, and they'll comment on it like, wow, you eat so much, or that's a lot of food, or didn't you just eat? And the thing is, food has no rules. Like, if you can learn to listen to your body knows what it needs. And if you can just take the time to notice the cues that it's giving you, that can help steer you towards a healthy relationship with food. Now, none of what I'm telling you today is going to solve all of your problems. Maybe there's nothing here today that will help you, but my hope is that it will help you. And if you find that what I'm talking about is something that you need a community where you can come to in regard to healing your relationship with food, I encourage you to subscribe or follow if you're listening on podcast or you're watching on YouTube. So that is the first thing, is deconstructing food rules. If you're hungry, honor your hunger. If your body is craving like protein or carbs or fruit or maybe a sweet treat, you're allowed to have those things. Carbs in the afternoon, in the evening are okay. Carbs are okay. Carbs give you energy, and fat is not a bad thing. Avocado, peanut butter, plain butter, cooking your food in oil, they don't make your food bad. They don't make you gain weight. They are not inherently bad. To the second thing I said was challenging yourself to break your food rules and see what happens. You may find that nothing consequential happens at all. So I've been there when I overeat, or I eat that piece of toast with peanut butter in the evening, or I have dessert right before going to bed, or I don't have vegetables on my plate, or I don't exercise for 1 day or 3 days or a week. And what happens is usually nothing. Yes, maybe you're a little bloated the next day because you binged. Yes, maybe you feel kind of sluggish because you haven't been moving your body and working out. But the thing is, like, most of the time, very little change is going to happen from doing one thing one day. What matters is what you do consistently over time. So moving your body regularly is a good thing, but it shouldn't be a punishment. You're allowed to eat carbs at any time of day. They are not the problem. Carbs are not the problem. If you don't eat a vegetable at a meal, nothing is going to happen. You can always have vegetables later. Maybe you don't have any vegetables for 1 day. There's probably nothing that you're going to notice. Mentally, you know. Physically, you're probably not going to notice a thing. So I challenge you to break your food rules. Now, I'm not saying anything that I'm going to say today or anything I have said is going to be easy for you to do. This is hard. But if we can keep challenging ourselves to break those food rules, that is how they're going to get broken. The third comment was reminding yourself as many times as you need that food and eating is not inherently bad. Overeating occasionally is normal. Having dessert every day is okay. And it is. I remember I just wanted to be normal. I was like, I remember thinking, like, I don't even know what normal eating is. I don't remember what normal eating used to be. And so I'm like, how am I supposed to get there if I don't know what it is? And the thing is, overeating occasionally, it's normal. People do it. I'm a big advocate for intuitive eating, so honoring your hunger, eating when you are hungry, and then practicing stopping when you're full. That one is harder. It's not impossible though. Maybe it's leaving one bite on your plate. Maybe it's saving your leftovers for later. And this is again hard because sometimes if you're struggling with your relationship with food, there's a mentality of like scarcity, or that the dessert or the carbs, they were a treat, or you are binging on them and you plan to cut them out forever the next day. And so there's that mindset of all or nothing. But having a healthy relationship with food is knowing that, again, going back to your food rules, nothing is off limits. You can have pasta tomorrow too. You can have dessert tomorrow too. This isn't the last day of your life. And I have a sweet tooth. I eat something sweet every single day. And that brings joy to me and my taste buds. And I can still have a healthy relationship with food. I don't want to binge what the dessert is that I'm having. It doesn't make me want to go into a binge. And that's just another food rule that I think it's important to break, because dessert's not inherently bad, and it is something that we are allowed to enjoy. The fourth thing that I mentioned was try to evaluate why you are eating what you are eating and when you are eating it. I'll repeat that. Try to evaluate why you are eating the thing that you're eating when you're eating. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Sometimes we feel guilty when we ate when we weren't hungry. Are you numbing emotions? Can you look for alternative activities to channel your emotions into instead of food? So there are many reasons that you can struggle with your relationship with food. As you go through your journey of healing, you will pick up on things that trigger you to want to grab for food. And you may not always notice it. You may not notice it right away as you're going through your healing journey. But the acronym HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, can be reasons that we tumble into a binge. So being hungry. If you have a food rule that I can only eat 3 meals a day, no snacks. So, and then you binged last night, so you're restricted this morning, you're restricted at lunch, and by dinner time, you are so hungry, you just want to eat everything, and then you just tumble into a binge. Like, that's a possibility. Are you angry? Sometimes we don't know a healthy way to deal with our emotions. And so eating can be something that numbs us, and it distracts us, and then we're no longer thinking about the reason why we're angry. Being lonely, again, numbing an emotion. And this one, all of these, hunger, sometimes we don't realize these things are triggering us to eat. But again, if you're lonely, you're sad, you're feeling kind of down, like, how can I no longer be those feelings? And food initially usually makes us happy. It tastes good, it's nice, and then we just keep going. And then we no longer feel nice. But then we're no longer lonely. But I remember one time in college, I was alone in my dorm room, and I had some fun snacks that were from like a movie night the night before, and I wanted to eat them. They were pretzel M&Ms. I just wanted to eat them. And I was telling myself, nope. But I didn't have plans with any friends. I was still, I didn't have many friends at that time. I got along with my roommate, but she was a little older, and she had her own group, which was very welcoming to me, but I was kind of isolated, partially because of my disordered eating. And so I was in the room, and I finally just I binged on the M&Ms, and I don't know if there were other things, but that was one of them. And then my belly hurt. I felt so icky about myself, and I was lonely. And then my roommate texted me asking me if I wanted to go out with her and a couple other friends. And because I felt so disgusted with myself, I said no. And that made it even worse because I was lonely. And so I have been there, and maybe you don't realize this, that you are lonely. And so amongst other things, it's probably not just one reason why we binge. We use food as an escape without noticing it. And so I encourage you to not be isolated. Find a community. And I know you may not be able to be around people 24/7, 365, but do you get along with people at work? Do you get along with your family? Do you have friends? Do you need to be the one to reach out to friends this time? Do you have a church community? Do you have a book club? Is there something in the community that you can join? Can you volunteer? There's so much fulfillment that comes from helping others that I think we forget or forsake all the time. And it's a selfless act. You don't get anything physical or monetary from it, but I think mentally it is so uplifting and so fulfilling, even if it seems like a drag to think about, to do. And so whether it's volunteering, whether it's joining a book club, whether it's joining a church, whether it's reaching out to your friends, be in community. So that's lonely, HALT. Are you tired? So food is energy. Food is literally energy. And so oftentimes, if you are not getting enough sleep, your body's saying, I need energy. I didn't get the sleep, so how else am I going to get the energy? And so sometimes if you're staying up late or if you're just period not getting enough sleep, sometimes our body will give us like cravings, like I want to eat something. And it's usually not the best food. You don't usually binge on fruits and veggies. It's usually salty, fatty, sweet foods. And so something that you can consider is if it's during the day and you can't take a nap, you can't go to sleep, can you go for a walk? Exercise can be energizing too. If it's in the evening, for me, binging was oftentimes in the evening. And does that just mean you need to go to bed earlier? It's super easy you get home, do whatever you do, and then you sit down on the couch, or you sit down and you stay too long, and then you're super tired, and then you should be getting ready for bed, and you find yourself in the kitchen being like, what can I eat? So all of that to say, start thinking about the emotions and the situations that you're feeling, that you're experiencing leading up to a binge. And that in and of itself isn't going to necessarily stop the binge, but it can clue you in to what is a factor in why you binge. And then from there, maybe there are other avenues of how you can express how you can deal with your anger, deal with your negative emotions, deal with your loneliness. And maybe that's just making sure you're eating well enough throughout the day. Fuel your body from beginning to end. Honor your hungry, eat when you do get hungry, and get plenty of rest. And then my last suggestion was, and something that's not even a suggestion, I am telling you, forgive yourself for struggling. Do this again and again. You can't change the past, but you can keep trying for the future. This is a journey. It's going to take time. It's not easy, and know that you're not alone. Again, if we can go back to how this started, I used to berate myself for how I ate, what I ate, and when I was eating, because I had all these food rules. I was struggling with my relationship with food. I was beating myself up because I thought that I was the problem. And I mean, yes, I was the problem, but that's because I didn't know how to deal. I didn't know how to deal with things. And so food was how I dealt with things. And I thank God that I have been able to learn and see what I'm struggling with. And I have found other ways to deal with my loneliness and breaking my food rules. And even though I struggled for so long, and I feel like I missed out on so much, I need you to know that there's hope on the other side of what you're struggling with, because I am on the other side. And I don't beat myself up for the struggle. I don't beat myself up for not knowing what I know now. And so you're not alone. You can get through this struggle. And I hope that these suggestions were insightful to you, maybe helpful, or maybe just get you thinking about breaking your food rules and healing your relationship with food. If you have thoughts and comments and suggestions, I encourage you to leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for being here today.